Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're traveling far back in time. We're stepping right onto the golden desert dunes of ancient Arabia, just as the morning light is spreading over the rooftops of a small mud brick town. This is a place on the very edge of massive historical change. A completely new message is emerging, and it's capturing the hearts of the poor, the orphaned, and the needy. It's spreading like wildfire across the community. But, as with any truly profound shift, not everyone is ready to embrace the light. So I really want you to hold on to this question as we go through today's explainer. How does a person react when their absolute greatest enemy becomes their only hope for survival? It's a pretty wild human dilemma, right? We so often build up these huge walls in our minds, painting those we disagree with as literal monsters. But what actually happens when the very source of our anger becomes the lifeline we desperately need? This story isn't just history. It's a deep, fascinating dive into empathy, patience, and the shocking power of true character. Section 1. A bitter departure. Leaving town for good. Okay, so here we have an elderly woman living completely alone in a small stone house on the very edge of town. She actually knows almost nothing about the true teachings of Islam, but she has firmly decided that she absolutely hates it. She wants nothing to do with the man delivering this message. So, driven by all this anger and misunderstanding, she abruptly knocks over her stool, starts frantically packing her clay jars and cloth bundles into this worn-out sack and ties it all up with trembling hands. Her one goal? Flee the town for good. She just wants to get as far away from this new religion as humanly possible. Section 2. The Harsh Desert Journey. Walking into the Wild. She steps out of the town and immediately into the unforgiving reality of the open wilderness. The sun is burning high and fierce. There is this relentless heat shimmer rising right off the golden sand. And with every single step she takes through those soft, shifting dunes, her heavy sack feels like it's literally doubling in weight. She's stumbling, she's wiping sweat from her brow. She is completely isolated, physically exhausted, and still miles away from any sign of civilization. The heavy emotional weight of her anger is now matched by the totally crushing physical weight of her journey. Section 3. An unexpected helper. A gentle light appears. Now, just as she is about to collapse under the blazing sun, notice how this next moment unfolds. There's no imposing figure, no intimidating presence, just a soft glow of light appearing over a distant dune, moving steadily and gently across the sand. This radiant warmth approaches the exhausted woman. Without a single word of judgment, without even demanding to know what she is doing out there in the middle of nowhere, this light seemingly lifts her heavy sack on its own, completely absorbing her burden. The woman's face immediately softens with relief. She is just overjoyed by the simple, profound kindness of a complete stranger. Section 4. A Journey of Irony. Walking. The truly crucial point here is the sheer endurance of this patience. I mean, think about it. Mile after mile across this vast, empty golden landscape, the woman just continues to hurl insults. She is viciously attacking the character of a man she's never even truly met, and the whole way, this gentle presence just walks beside her, carrying her heaviest burdens, leaning in slightly as if truly listening to her pain, and simply helping her forward. It is an absolutely stunning display of emotional discipline. Section 5. The Stunning Reveal. Reaching her new home. Eventually, the brutal desert gives way to a small cluster of tents on the horizon. They finally arrive at her new home. The glowing presence gently lowers her heavy sack right at her doorway. The old woman is beaming. Her hands are clasped together in overwhelming gratitude for this unbelievable kindness. As the light begins to drift gently away, turning to leave, something suddenly makes her pause. She raises a hand toward the warm glow and asks one simple question. "Wait, what is your name?" The light pauses. It glows just a bit brighter, warm and steady. And then, gently comes the answer, Muhammad. The old woman is completely frozen. She is stunned into absolute silence. Her hand slowly rises to her mouth in utter disbelief. Her mind begins to race, flashing back to every single angry, venomous word she had just spoken over the past few miles. The kind, patient, radiant presence that had carried her heavy bags through the blistering heat, the one who listened to her insults without a hint of retaliation, belonged to the very man she hated. How in the world could someone she had convinced herself was so incredibly cruel actually be this gentle? In that single, crystal-clear moment, all of her preconceptions completely shatter. Tears well up in her eyes, and her entire rigid posture softens. Surrounded by that peaceful, warm light, she suddenly understands the absolute truth of his character. Moved entirely by this profound display of empathy and patience, she places a hand over her heart and declares, right then and there, that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his final messenger. The light of his character had completely illuminated the darkness of her misunderstanding.
Section 6. The Power of Kindness, a Universal Message.
This beautiful story brings us from the dunes of ancient Arabia right into our modern lives today. Let's look at how this builds into the broader teachings found in the source material. The text provides a direct verse that acts as a literal blueprint for this exact kind of behavior. It explicitly commands us to be good to our parents, to our relatives, and to our neighbors. But it doesn't stop there. It extends to the vulnerable, orphans, the needy, travelers just like the old woman we talked about, and truly all who are near and far. It is a universal mandate to project goodness outward, completely regardless of who the recipient is or how they might initially treat us.
And honestly, this is the core takeaway for us to absorb. The reality of life is that sometimes people are going to misjudge us. They'll project their own fears, their own anger, and their own misunderstandings onto us, exactly like the old woman did. But if we can manage to stay kind, if we can remain steady and patient like that unwavering light in the desert, they might eventually see the truth. And even if they never do, the source material reminds us that Allah sees our actions and Allah rewards genuine kindness. Our character isn't dependent on how others treat us, it's entirely defined by how we treat them.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Take a look at your own life. Look at the people you interact with, or perhaps the people you actively avoid. Who in your world is carrying a really heavy burden right now? And more importantly, who can you show unexpected, silent, and patient kindness to today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you take a little bit of that radiant light with you wherever you go.